And we are back at the Multnomah Athletic Club, Portland, Oregon, for the 2009 World Handball Championships. Desi Keegan, referee. Billy O'Donnell, the bus, serving against Tony Healy.
We really don't know what to expect from Tony Healy here, Dave. Tony's been out for the better part of a year with a groin injury, also had a baby, so it's really his first tournament on the international scene. I had a chance to spar with Tony the other day. He wasn't quite as sharp as I've seen him in the past, and you can see that right there.
Tony Healy is the #2 seed. His wife Hillary and baby Kate back at home in Lombardstown, County Cork, about 5 minutes north of Mallow.
The last time we saw Tony Healy, Dave, was at that US Open, and he was incredible. Dominating all of his opponents. Actually beating Sean Lenning in the tiebreaker to win that $25,000 from Simple Green.
Nice shot right there, and Tony dives, gets it.
Tony normally so precise in the front court with his re-kills.
Tony has been injured for pretty much the past 12 months.
Looks to me like he's moving a little bit hesitantly.
He told me that he wasn't going to play in the Worlds. Then he entered and said that, well, I think I'm just going to go ahead and do it. He didn't feel like he had the proper training.
That's a very tough thing for an athlete.
But he got the #2 seed.
Tony Healy is used to a training regimen coming into every event. He hasn't had that luxury coming into this tournament.
350 days ago, Tony Healy won the biggest tournament of his life, winning the US Open and title and $25,000 in cash. You might recall that. It was a huge monkey off of his back as he won his very first pro stop on American soil at the age of 31. Now 32.
Billy O'Donnell from New York City, New York. Billy is one of the top one-wall players in the world. Made the semifinals here, losing to Pee Wee Castro. I saw Billy spend about 9 hours consecutively on the one-wall court on Sunday afternoon. He loves this game. He wants to be good at all the codes, though. He's currently ranked in the top 20 in the world of pro handball. Father Ed watching at home.
That shot from Tony right there. That was beautiful, that ball.
That was wallpaper. Right down that glass side wall.
2 serves 2. Out of all the games that have played today, where is the respect for Tony Healy? We have 50 open seats here, Dave.
Well, it's been a great day, but also a long day for this crowd here. This is the 8th match of the day. Most of these people have been here since the first match at 10:15. It was Paul Brady. You know, people do need to eat.
Three serves 2.
That's a nice shot there from Billy.
We're getting text messages from people listening to the live webcast, wanting us to update scores of the earlier matches from today. So we'll make sure to do that.
They can also check that information out on the website, on the message board.
You can actually go to r2sports.com and get the updates just as easy as a text message or a
Billy's
quick
got
mention.
So many different swings. He's got the sidearm stroke. He's got the underhand stroke, the fist. He's got the short arm, or the short hop shot, and also the fly kill.
During our next timeout, we'll run down the scores. Nice shot right there from Billy O'Donnell.
Billy's looking very good right now. You can see the bus written on the back of Billy's white shirt. That's his nickname.
That's the smallest thing about that shirt is the writing on it.
That shirt looks like it might even fit you.
I think that it would be tight on me. It'd be like spandex.
A lot of people would
Billy
like
wears
to see that.
Billy wears a 4X. I wear a 5, sometimes 6.
So you don't think you and I are going to be sharing shirts?
Not unless we have a dinner and a movie first.
Huh. So you're there.
I quickly left there.
Billy
Look at that
quickly
serve
off
right
to
there.
a big lead here. Billy has the support of all the New Yorkers here. Dozens of New York one-wall players made the trek here to Portland. You can see them scattered about in the crowd.
Let's listen for the score here. 7 serves 3.
We have not seen any of the flashes that we saw from Tony Healy last year consistently at the U.S. Open. Seems like he's very unsure of himself right now. You see Tony always in control when he's playing his best. Right now it looks like he's almost in survival mode.
Wow, look at that shot right there. Billy's just pushing Tony back and forth, and there's going to be a timeout here from Tony Healy and a fist pump from Billy O'Donnell.
This gives the bus so much confidence. Right now he feels like he can win this match, and he should.
I want to say hello to Billy's father, Ed, listening back home, watching the live coverage. It's a pretty exciting handball, apparently. We're at the show court, which is strange to see that there's a show court that is actually court number 10. Usually it's number 1 or 2, but that's where we're at here down in the basement at the Multnomah Athletic Club. The 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships live from this court here. The gallery packed full of eager handball fans wanting to watch the number 2 seed Tony Healy, the current U.S. Open champion, playing the bus. Billy O'Donnell, Dave Fink, my broadcast partner to the left. My name is Dave Vincent. This event brought to you by Waterford Crystal, the World Handball Council, the United States Handball Association, and the live webcast from the WPH. Earlier today it was Paul Brady defeating Mike Finnegan 21-9, 21-9. Shanks over Fink 21-20, 21-8, and then Robbie McCarthy defeated Fergal Collins by the score of 21-12, 21-12. That's just in the upper bracket. Emmett Peixote over John Iglesias 21-13, 21-5 to close out the upper bracket round of 16. We'll get to the lower bracket here in a second. There it is. That's when Billy O'Donnell is at his best, and he's pumping himself up right now.
Billy O'Donnell so dangerous in the front court. That was the best rally of the match thus far.
9-3.
Very unusual air there from Billy. That was a very easy shot.
In the lower side of the bracket of the men's 16s, Chapman defeated Michael Gregan 21-16, 21-9. Garner over Kennedy 17-17, and Moreno just defeated our referee Desi Keegan 21-2, 21-6. That ball just over the line. Tony does not appeal it.
Actually, that ball was on the line.
Doesn't that count? Just joking. When I played handball down in Mexico, it counted. Up. It's Billy shading in front of Tony like that.
Tony not hitting the ball well right now.
Whoever wins this game is going to have to face Luis Moreno, and I'm telling you right now, you might not want to win this one. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying.
Which is what? Second out of 10 times?
Actually, it's been 12.
I want to thank Gene for handing you the paper on that one.
There's a nice paddle kill there from Tony. That's a trademark of his game.
Score is 4-9.
Actually coming up about 5 feet short on a lob serve. You don't see that too often. Beautiful shot from Billy. Takes that ball from about 6 inches from the right wall and drives it straight down the right wall.
Score is 9-4. There's a few select handball people that have an inside scoop that actually think that Billy O'Donnell was going to win this before this 9-4 jump, knowing that Tony's been hurt.
Also, Billy's been playing extremely well.
4 serves 9. Tony back to that lob serve.
You know, Billy actually beating Luis Moreno here in the quarterfinals of the one-wall small ball event. Beating Luis Moreno 15-5, 15-14. If he wins here today, Luis Moreno will get his rematch on his more familiar turf, the 4-wall.
Nice shot from Tony. He actually hung in there on that one.
Billy hit a nice shot there. Looked like it was going to win him the point.
4-9. I wasn't going to say this, Dave, but I'm just going to come right out and say it. That Rob Gaither does not have to text message me while I'm doing the live webcast. He could just email. Because I have that computer right here. But I guess text messaging might be the way of doing it. You know Big Rob.
I do, Gunther. Actually took Toddy Silvera to an 11-9 tiebreaker. A lot of people say that was in his dreams. But he'll tell you it wasn't.
Nice rally right here. See a lot of fish shots from Tony Healy and a missed shot there from Billy O'Donnell.
Billy senses that he's in this match right now. This is a golden opportunity here for the bus.
6 plays 9 here. That's where Tony has problems, is bending down really quickly. He had that groin injury. It was actually an injury of an abdominal muscle near the pubic bone, really low. And that's what sidelined him for the last 12 months or so. He's really played no handball. He tried to play at the Golden Gloves. He made it to the finals. Had a really strong field of players there, Dave. And you saw all those players that showed up there in Ireland for that. He made it to the finals, but got beat handily by Owen Kennedy, scoring 3 points in the second game. That's something we've never seen from Tony Healy. But here he's trying to make it to the finals like he did in 2006 in Edmonton, where he faced Paul Brady in the finals there and lost.
We saw that Irish onslaught subdued a little bit here in the bottom half of the draw. We saw the Irish sweeping in that top half. Paul Brady defeating his buddy and countryman Michael Finnegan, and then Charlie Shanks defeating me, followed by Robbie McCarthy defeating his countryman Fergal Collins. In the bottom half, we expected to see some more Irish contingent. We saw Desi Keegan fall to Luis Moreno, an Irishman going down there. We saw Owen Kennedy also falling to Alan Garner. And now we have another Irishman on the ropes here. Billy upset with himself there. Good opportunity to score that 10th point. Didn't take advantage.
6 serves 9. Look at that serve right there. That's something that Dave Chapman couldn't do with his serve today. But Tony Healy is able to do it. I like how Tony has simplified the game right now. I don't know if you've noticed this, but he is on a pretty good run right now. He was down 4-9. Now it's 7-9. Make that 8-9. Eight serves 9.
Tony seems like he senses his vulnerabilities here, and he's trying to just play to his strengths right now.
That's such a good serve right there, Dave.
Stay in that front court and try and execute those paddle kill re-kill shots that he does so well.
Desi Keegan is regarded as one of the top referees in the game in Ireland. He usually refs most of the finals matches. That's a 2-bounce. He's been the referee of record against Tony Healy and Paul Brady multiple times in Ireland.
Just as you talked about that good lob serve Tony's been hitting, brings that one off the left side wall, and Billy takes care of it. Billy's going to quickly appeal that call. Looked to be good from here.
Desi Keegan getting the announcer's curse up here. Maybe not. Oh, I just noticed right there, Tony Healy takes that ball off the back wall. Left corner is his father, Jer Healy, sitting right there in the white shirt. You remember him courtside during the U.S. Open win where he got that $25,000 prize.
That's a nice serve there from Billy. Tony punches it to the ceiling. That's really the only weakness in Billy's game right now, is that back wall. Doesn't let that ball come out in front of him quite enough, like you'll see the top back wall specialist execute. That's the 7th ball he skipped off the back wall. Thanks to Gene Casimoto for that. So you think about that, Dave. Billy's already skipped 7 balls off the back wall, and Tony has 9 points. Over half of those points coming on back wall mistakes.
Right.
Hard enough to beat Tony Healy, let alone when you're handing him 7 points. Tony now back in this game.
10-10 is the score.
Tony actually bouncing that ball 3 times before hitting that serve, and probably couldn't have hit a worse serve right there.
10 serves 10. That ball just riding that wall. Tony Healy, no stranger to this court either. Remember in 2004, it was that nice comeback that he had against Dave Chapman in the semifinals. Everyone remembers that. He was down 15-3 at one point and came back and won to force a tiebreaker. It was legendary.
Really struggling with that lob serve. Billy plays the top players in the biggest tournaments in one wall. You have to think that helps him coming into a match like this, playing against one of the world's best, Tony Healy. Billy experiences that intensity and that pressure playing against all the top players in New York City on the one-wall courts.
Winner of this one goes into the quarterfinals versus Alan Garner. Excuse me, Luis Moreno. Alan Garner facing Dave Chapman.
Those two have matched up quite a bit in the last year. Alan winning only one of those matches. You have to say, though, from what we saw today, you'd have to think Alan's got a pretty good opportunity tomorrow.
I agree. Most of those matches that they played recently just go to tiebreakers. It was Alan Garner defeating Dave Chapman in the quarterfinals of the Long Island Open.
Beautiful shot there from Tony.
Eleven serves 10. I was able to play Tony Healy in a ranked tournament one time, Dave, and one of the things I found out about him is he has the ability to slow the game down or turn it on at any moment. He can flip the switch. Right now he's going to the ground and pound game. He decided to go to the power serve and the return kill, but he can go back up to the ceiling and slow the game down at any moment. He can do it right in the middle of the rally. It's like he just knew that Billy was going to hit that ball over there.
That's a nice shot there from Billy.
10 serves 12. This is game number 1. Billy O'Donnell versus Tony Healy.
Surprised Billy didn't run up and take that ball out of the air when Tony hit that back ball first.
Sounds like this ball is broken.
I agree.
Tony Healy getting the point, calling the timeout. 12-10 is the score here. Game number 1, Tony Healy up against Billy O'Donnell. It was Billy who actually was leading most of the way, 9-4, and then now Tony Healy has come back to score 8 to Billy's 1. You're watching the 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships from the Multnomah Athletic Club. My name is Dave Vincent. We have Dave Fink in the booth.
I think conditioning is going to be a factor for both of these players here today, Dave. Tony hasn't played a lot of handball, and he can do all the working out that he wants, but it doesn't simulate a tournament handball match. Billy has been known to have questionable conditioning during his time on the Pro Handball Tour, so we'll see which player is able to adjust and compensate for any conditioning deficiency that they might have. We see Tony calling his second timeout here. It's definitely not one of those timeouts that we see that is used to stop the momentum. Tony's actually scored 6 of the last 7 points.
Listen for the score here, 12-10. Referee is Desi Keegan. Tony Healy in the blue shirt. It's a terrible serve right there. Tony, like I said, he'll just all of a sudden start going back to that slow stuff. Now he's going to go to that, the harder one, forcing Billy to take that ball.
Billy definitely looking uncomfortable with that return of serve.
I know. And I know Tony actually saw that too, though.
We'll see if Tony goes back to it. Billy looked a little bit confused with that return of serve. And there's another ball that Billy puts in the ground off the back wall. That's number 8.
I'm telling you, Tony's a smart guy. Let's just see if he goes right to that. He might just do it.
I think he's going to stick with this lob serve. Surprising.
Wow. Well, it's a good thing because the second serve of it is pretty good. See what the pace is on this one.
It's odd to see such a great player with such a great lob serve just miss it so badly.
Tony has Billy out of position and gets the point there. I kind of like the serve from Tony. It's so fat that it comes around with the left. You're really trying to just catch up with it. I don't know what other top players do with that ball.
Well, I know Alan Garner rolls it out flat.
That's a good point. And that's no disrespect to Billy. I'm just not sure he's quite familiar with that serve there.
We'll see if Tony appeals the serve. He doesn't. I thought the serve was short. Nice shot there, though, from Billy. Brought in that right-hand hammer.
10 serves 14.
Incredibly, you can serve Tony that Z serve. If you serve it to him once in a match, he's up there waiting for it to take it out of the air.
Tony just skips that ball in. 11 serves 14.
Billy goes to a safer shot there off that back wall. Aims about 5 feet high. The Bus actually defeating Chicago's Bill Mahilos last night in a round of 32 matchup. Nice win for the Bus.
Earlier, Tony was making that serve. Now he's missing it.
Sense that Tony's becoming a lot more comfortable moving around the court. Looks like he's trusting that groin injury a little bit more.
Eleven serves 14. Excuse me. Said the score wrong. 14-11. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question here, Dave. Ready for this? Similarities between Tony Healy and Dave Chapman. Make it quick. Make it brief. Similarities.
Both have the ability to slow the game down, both with tremendous feel up in the front court. Both guys very proficient at using the ceiling, and both have that back wall weapon, the ability to end the rally from anywhere when that ball comes off the back wall.
What's the difference between the two?
If you're asking about the difference right now, Dave Chapman's a lot more comfortable. He's been playing every event in the last year. Dave Chapman's played 27 tournaments since last year's U.S. Open. Tony Healy's played only 1. So Dave's going to be a lot more comfortable. He's going to be a lot more confident in the court. Dave's also had a lot more success in his career. Obviously, he's one of the greatest champions that's ever played. He's got 8 national championships, so he always has that to fall back on in crucial situations. I think that makes a big difference. Obviously, I can't relate to that, but you would think that's in the back of your mind when The match is tight. You've been there before.
But in Tony Healy's country, he has 6 national championships, and he's still only 31 years old. He could close out his career with more national championships than Dave Chapman in their respective countries. Not that it means the same, but possibly it does to some people. I see Tony Healy's a little bit different now after the injury. You're not seeing him bend down and take balls off the back wall like he did previously, where he was being compared to Dave Chapman off the back wall, but now you don't see him really killing balls with that injury, and I'm sure he'll get over that. But
it looks to me that Tony's only at about 60% right now. I actually cannot rely on Gene Casimoto for that official stat. That's more of a subjective judgment.
Let's say hello to Ed O'Donnell, who is watching this match, his son on the court here.
1 timeout remaining. The score is 11. Plays 14.
11 serves 14.
Here's a setup for Billy. That's a nice finish there.
12 serves 14. Here's a setup. Make that 13 to 14.
13 plays 14.
That ball's so hard to see. Actually, Tony put a little wrinkle on that. Billy's looking back at the wall as if, you know, he didn't see it right, but Tony actually jammed that ball into that left wall, Dave.
Tony put a little reverse on that ball with his left hand. Tony likes to serve that power serve behind him, standing on the left side, going behind himself. This is the serve I thought he'd use more. You can see that. Billy not comfortable with that ball coming across his body and taking it with his left hand. Look a little bit unsure of what to do with that ball. Tony with 2 beautiful kills down the right consecutively. You see a little bit of that serve and shoot game right there from Tony. Is that what you call a ground and pound?
I call it ground and pound. He can do it, and he changed up. He said, you know what, I might have a better chance of beating Billy doing it this way. I would have naturally thought the other way would have been more effective, but this seems to work for him. It's more Billy's style to play ground and pound.
I think Tony probably thought the same thing. He did his research coming in. He knows Billy's a one-wall player that likes that low, hard action.
I've come to the conclusion that we all foot fault on every single serve, just from this standpoint where we're at. Never noticed that before.
I think the referees have done a pretty good job of calling the foot faults today. So I would disagree with you, disrespectfully.
Well, they didn't call one on the last. Thank you for being disrespectful. That was a double bounce right there. They didn't call one on the last one or the last 5, so I don't know how you can make that statement. I mean, just look at the line on every serve. What did Gene Casimoto say?
Gene Casimoto said.
And did you have to close that off with being disrespectfully on that, or?
Well, what? Wait.
I sign the paychecks.
If we have that hepatitis C camera from the Seattle WAC on that foot fault line, we'd certainly be able to tell a lot more.
Is that what you call it? Is that
just reporting what I heard it was called.
13 plays 17.
13 serves 17 now.
Not a foot fault.
So you're still there then?
I'm staying there. Nice back wall kill there from Billy.
14 serves 17. That was a skip in right there.
Big miss there from Billy. Gene actually has calculated that of all of the power serves hit today, only 3% have resulted in footfall calls. 8% have actually been footfalls.
See, when Billy plays that one wall style of game where he's just hitting the one wall, no other sidewalls, he actually has an advantage against Tony Healy. 14 to 17.
Ooh.
That's all right. You don't want to wait. You don't want to start the engine of the bus. You don't want to get the bus upset because the bus might make a few extra stops. So
14 is 17.
He's looking to stop in victory lane.
14 is 17.
That's a nice get there from the bus.
look at that. He's playing one wall right now.
Tony mishit that ball. He had the whole right side.
Oh, here it is. Big setup. Let's see what the bus does here. Oh, look at that shot. The bus actually got it, but didn't make it to the front wall, but it was still enough to get the crowd to put their hands together.
That was the only place on the court the bus could have made contact with that shot. Only had the backhand option.
17 is 14. Sharp. Watch the front line, Tony.
17 serves 14 is the call.
Second serve.
Second serve now.
The bus looked like he might have been anticipating a kill down the left there.
Easy is 14.
18 serves 14. Going into the ceiling against Tony Healy is not a great strategy. But staying right down there is not bad. That's where
nice.
Billy does a great job right in that area.
Tony does a great job of getting out of Tony's way right there.
Tony does a great job of getting out of Billy's way. So
There's a lot of great jobs going on in here.
14 is easy.
That is, except for the announce team. That's not so great.
It's a good point.
Just call it like I see.
Second serve.
Nice shot there from Billy. That ball came right into his body. Billy able to move out just slightly to his left.
Now we're going to have a glove change here. Let's listen for the score.
Score is 15 is 18.
15 for the bus, 18 for Tony Healy.
This is not as big a surprise as some people tuning in may think. Tony has been out of action. The bus has been coming on strong in the last year, so.
What do you think the rationale, though, is to, you know, like you said, like some people wouldn't think it's a big surprise. You and I both know that it's not a real big surprise because we know the condition of Tony Healy, but why did the seeding committee give Tony Healy the #2 seed knowing that he's injured?
Well, I can't speak for them. I can only
He's
assume
not
that
even
they're going on his previous results. I don't know if the seeding committee takes in the last World Championships where Tony Healy lost in the final. Maybe he's awarded the 2nd seed because of that. Maybe he's rewarded the 2nd seed because he finished 2nd in the World Championships and then won the U.S. Open last year. There could be a number of things. Maybe they think his injury isn't severe. It's hard for me to speak for them. I do know, however, that Tony is clearly not at 100%. This is not the Tony Healy we saw 349 days ago in Orange County.
50 according to Gene.
Excuse me.
Sorry.
It could have been 349, though, because that could have been his semifinal match, where he also played extremely well.
You're right. I wasn't exactly logging.
I actually thought he played better in his semifinal match, defeating Emmett the Rock Peugeot.
Sorry to interrupt. I hope you make note of that.
It's been duly noted.
You're watching the 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championship.
You're also watching the announce team self-destruct right before your very eyes.
All right, guys, back and forth.
Which for a strange, you know, kind of sort of reasoning, you actually like that, don't you?
I'm a masochist.
It's going to be sort of like your first round doubles match tomorrow.
Huh. That could be ugly.
Easy on the door.
Let's listen for the score here.
Desi making sure to take care of all facets of the referee's job, telling Tony to take it easy on the door.
Scores 15, plays easy.
Very surprising air there from Billy. I watch Billy play all of his one-wall matches. I see him pick that shot up and ball is much closer to the front wall and do a lot with them.
18 serves 15. There's a fist pump right there. Billy O'Donnell stole that from Tony Healy.
He's locking it in.
15, plays easy.
15 serves 18 now.
These players have gone back and forth at 15-18 here 4 times.
Make that 16 to 18. You heard Tony just say yeah to Desi, as if to say, is that a point?
Point. Scores 16, plays easy.
16 to 18 here.
Billy goes for it. This should be it here.
Wow, Tony went right back where Billy was standing. He just, you know, he can look back on that glass on the back wall and see the bus come out and give him the lane, and he can come back into it. That's one of the great things about glass back walls. You can see the reflection. I'm not sure he did or not, but that was strange that he came right back where Billy was standing.
That's Tony's favorite shot, that back wall kill down the right wall.
That's such a good serve right there, Dave.
Billy hits that high V return, very effective. It's almost an accidental type of return, but it works. You know, Dave, a lot of times you try and hit that ceiling, you miss it, the ball's gonna hit that front wall, right side wall.
We saw a lot of poise earlier today when Michael Gregan scored 16 points against Dave Chapman. Now we're seeing that same poise from the bus. Listen for the score here. 16 to 18, the same points here for Billy O'Donnell now against Tony Healy. Billy going outside really briefly, but there's just too many people out there, too much distraction. He's going to stay inside. He's the one with the hot hand. You're watching the 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships. Dave Vincent in the booth alongside my very best friend, my BFF, Dave Fink, who is a legend in the sport, but not because of the wins.
Clearly.
But for the mouth.
10 seconds.
And the good looks.
Not so sure about the latter. But thank you.
Multnomah Athletic Club, at least you learn to say thank you when someone gives you a compliment, even though it was backhanded.
Scores 16. Right.
16 serves 18 here.
16, plays easy.
Ed O'Donnell, the father of Billy, watching on the live webcast at home.
Short.
That should be appealed, but it's not.
Second serve.
Could be trouble.
That ball just peppering that wall over there.
Actually, pretty fortunate break there for Tony. That ball hit the front wall, then the ceiling, and it came straight down and then ran right down that right side wall. Tony back in to serve.
18 serve 16. Little outburst there from Billy O, the Big O. Ball just sounds like it's broken. At least
Billy nearly re-killing that from the ground.
That's a good serve right there from Tony, 19 to 16. Where did that serve come from? That's the first time we've seen that.
Just looked like Billy rushed that one a little bit. I don't think the serve was any better than the previous serves Tony's hit behind himself. Billy needed to let that ball come off the side wall. It would have come off the back wall as well.
19 to 16.
That was a great serve, though. Catches that deep crack. Tony goes back to the ceiling. Tony does the Michael Gregan shot there.
We actually call it the Gregan. Billy really trying to pump himself up here. Tony Healy's father, Jer Healy, is sitting courtside in that spot that you always place your father in, or at least you try to, when you're playing your matches. Jer Healy sitting there on the left back wall. Tony Healy's wife, Hillary, back home in Lombardstown, County Cork, and daughter, Kate, also back home. I doubt she's watching the live webcast since this is
Score 16, there's 19.
5 o'clock in the morning. Back home. This is not the first time that Hillary had to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch her husband play handball on a live webcast. It won't be the last either.
19, there's 16.
19 serves 16 here.
Tony mishits that ball.
I like that shot right there, Dave.
Tony playing some great defense here in this point. Great slider there from Tony Healy. Takes that ball from 37 feet with a little bit of natural on it and drives it down that right wall, hit it about a foot high. Billy couldn't get his hand in there between the ball and the side wall.
20, game ball, there's 16.
20 serves 16. This is the first game. Now it's a side out.
Actually, Dave, a certain member of this announce team predicted a 21-16 first game win for Tony Healy. It wasn't you.
16.
No, that's because I'm unbiased and I give an unbiased opinion. That's might be one of the reasons why.
Not sure how that was biased, just was an opinion.
Still an opinion from somebody who's supposed to be objective. Well, now both of us are wrong on our opinions.
17, there's 20.
17 serves 20. Actually, not a bad idea. He wanted to dump that in the left corner.
I disagree.
The result was a bad idea, but really he had Tony to the right. He just wanted to feather that down that left wall.
He had every opportunity to take that ball with his right hand and drive it down the right wall. He hesitated.
20 serve 17. Nice serve right there from Tony. I like it. There it is, 21-17. Tony Healy wins the very first game here. This is the last minute. And we are back live from the Multnomah Athletic Club for the 2009 World Handball Championships, brought to you by the World Handball Council, the United States Handball Association, Waterford Crystal. The feed coming to you from the WPH. Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink. Game number 2, Tony Healy serves to Billy O'Donnell. Billy scores 17 in the first game.
I'm always surprised to see Billy miss those short hops. I see him make them so routinely on the one-wall court.
1-0.
Billy a little bit deflated, I would think, after that first game. He played pretty well and still lost it. I think he knew he had a golden opportunity there with Tony struggling a little bit with his game. We saw some glimpses of the great Tony Healy there at times in that first game. We saw some of those beautiful right-hand kills down that right wall. We also saw a lot of uncharacteristic shots from the tactician, Tony Healy. That's a good serve there from Billy. Tony handles it though, beautifully.
Nice shot from Tony Healy there.
For those of you tuning into this live webcast and watching handball for the first time, players stand in between those two lines to serve the ball. That's called the service box. The ball has to cross the back line.
Wow, what was that?
That was a little bit of impatience there from Tony. This is four-wall handball. The serve must hit that front wall first. After the serve, the ball can hit any wall first as long as it hits the front wall at some point.
One serve, 0.
Looks like Tony's putting the wrong spin on that lob serve. The ball's spinning out to the middle of the court rather than hugging that left side wall, which is what he wants.
Well, that ball did darted by.
That was an
Billy.
overhand kill with a reverse on it.
Overhand
Pass?
pass, maybe? See, Tony has to locate this, and he's not doing a good job. He's leaving it so far out there. Michael Gregan would have been hitting that ball 2 inches high if if Tony was playing him here. Three serve, 0, second game. Tony won the first one, 21-17. That 4-0.
Not sure what the bus saw there. I didn't see any strange bounce. Tony now off to a 4-0 lead.
I'm thinking that the bus saw something on the ceiling or the roof there. I didn't see it either. But then again, anything we don't see would.
Billy gives Tony the point there. That wasn't avoidable.
I'm not used to calling avoidables.
You heard Tony Healy say, I'm not used to calling avoidables.
Actually, that was Desi Keegan.
That's what I meant.
I
What did
can
say?
see how you can get the two confused. You chuckle.
I've been off today. I'm not on my game, so.
But you have talked a little bit about the match, which is an improvement.
Well, this is the World Championships.
Last time our viewers tuned in, they got to hear a lot about Daniel Day-Lewis and his prolific acting and whatnot.
You mean at the last World Championships?
I think so.
Yeah, it was in Edmonton. Trying to keep it real, keep it current. We have a timeout here. Let's talk about what happened earlier today in the first round of the men's 16s. It was Paul Brady and fellow Irishman Michael Finnegan who sparred against each other earlier today. Brady becoming the victor, 21-9, 21-9. It was
actually
Shanks.
Paul Brady fighting a little bit of a hip injury. You said, Dave, that looked like he was favoring it quite a bit, particularly moving forward. Didn't look like the Paul Brady that we know.
Looked like that upper hamstring strain was really getting to Paul, but he still won, keeping Mike Finnegan in single digits. Charlie Shanks over yours truly, Dave Fink, 21-20, 21-8. Robbie McCarthy defeats what should have been Sean Linning, but he pulled out because of strep throat, so he defeated Fergal Collins, who was a late addition, but also got the 5 seed, 21-12, 21-12. Emmett Peixoto over John Iglesias, 21-13, 21-5. Dave Chapman defeats Gregan. Alan Garner over Owen Kennedy in 2 straight, and Moreno slaughtered Desi Keegan, 21-2, 21-6.
Actually, Johnny Church's Iglesias has won his first 2 rounds of the men's big ball singles open. Just upstairs here today. He'll face Rookie Wright tomorrow, Dave, at 1 o'clock. We might be able to get our cameras up there to check out some of that action. That should be an interesting match.
6-0 here. 5-0. It's because Desi Keegan called the wrong score when Billy was serving. Now it's 6-0.
That's one of those things when things are not going your way, Dave, as they're not for Billy right now. Even the easiest setups become difficult to handle as that ball merged with the side wall. There's a bad shot there for Billy. Tony uses that skinny V pass there.
See Tony very slow getting up right there. The old Tony would have actually taken a couple steps and dove toward the back wall, but right there getting up, you can see there's something wrong.
If the old Tony couldn't fly, he couldn't have gotten that ball.
No, he wouldn't have got it, but I know the old Tony would have jumped up and ran that way. That's just what the old Tony would have done, but you see...
I'm confused here because Tony just appealed a screen serve, and Desi looked to his lines person and... Billy's right here. You cannot appeal a screen serve. I'm surprised he let that argument go. Didn't you say Desi refs the top matches in Ireland?
Well, I'm kind of confused about what just happened right there.
Well,
Desi just clearly stated that Tony Healy appealed the serve.
No,
Desi said that he
Tony
called the
Healy
screen.
appealed a screen on the serve, not a short.
Okay. And Billy called him on the carpet on that. Billy trying to pump himself up here. 0 serve 6. Zero serve 6.
Billy's still stuck on 0 here. Billy put himself in a real bad spot there. Gave Tony a big back wall setup and he got caught behind him. Didn't even force Tony to hit a good shot there.
6 serve 0.
Tony's starting to find his mark.
You heard the score, 7-0 here. hard to get that word 0 out, Dave. Make that 8-0.
Billy senses this game starting to slip away. Calls his second time out here. 8-0, excuse me.
Let's run down the winners earlier here in the round of 16. Brady, Shanks, Robbie McCarthy, Emmett Pachote, Dave Chapman, Alan Garner, and Luis Moreno. The matchups as they are: Brady will face Charlie Shanks in the round of 8. Robbie McCarthy will face Emmett Pachote in that quarterfinal match. That's the upper bracket. Lower bracket, David Chapman versus Alan Garner, and Luis Moreno more than likely going to face Tony Healy, but this one is very early on in the second game.
It's getting early late, though, here in this second game, to coin a phrase from Yogi Berra, I believe.
Looks like the matchup might possibly be Luis Moreno versus Tony Healy. That's going to be a good match. If Tony plays anything like the way Dave Chapman plays against Luis Moreno when Dave Chapman's fresh, Tony Healy certainly you could say is probably falls in that category. You can see an interesting matchup there, even though this is about a 75% Tony Healy.
I'm going to stick with 60.
Thank you.
On this second game, he looks like he's stepped up that 60 to about a 75.
It seems to me that Billy's level has dropped considerably here in this second game.
Score is 8-0.
8-0.
I don't want to say Billy's tired, but Billy's lost a little bit of his concentration and his confidence. We've seen that a couple times from Tony Healy. Can't get the right bounce, bounces it 3 or 4 times, and then hits the worst serve of the day.
I think Tony's just trying to locate it somehow.
Well, clearly he's not trying to hit the middle of the left side wall. Not a good serve there from Billy.
Somebody needs to go down, find Billy, and tell him to check his text messages. He's being coached from afar. That's all I'm saying. And we're so far away from Tony that would take about 15 minutes to get down to where he's at.
That's a smart shot there from Tony. Tony faked like he was going down the right, forced Billy to commit, and then drove that ball behind him. Very smart shot. I'd like to see Tony push a lob serve down the right here. It's an effective play at the club.
That's 10-0 now. 10-0. There's that serve again. It's like Tony just relocated it.
Down. Side out.
Gene just handing me a note that Tony is on a 10-0 run here in the second game. Thank you, Gene, but I was able to figure that out. She's always trying to make us look good.
You're right. That's right.
Can't fault her for that. Where would we be without her?
Well, standing right here, but without her.
But without all that valuable information.
That's a good point.
That makes us look like we really have been doing our homework.
There's 10.
One serves 10. Tony's actually on an 11-point run because he scored the last point in the last game.
The bus makes Tony play one more ball there and scores a point as a result.
Point. 2. There's 10.
2 serves 10.
That's a beautiful 2-wall pass there from Tony. Sharp angle on that 2-wall pass, Dave. Drove that ball hard enough and low enough that it was deep into that back corner and it wasn't coming off the back wall.
There's 2.
10 serves 2.
Short. Healy, pull short.
What do you think? Looked like it was right on the line, just over.
Second serve.
Actually didn't see that one. That's the second ball we've seen Tony skip in the last 3 rallies with his right hand from virtually the same spot. Really seemed to be finding his range there in the beginning of this first game. You know, Dave, you can learn so much about how a player is playing by the sound of the ball coming off of his hand. Even though Tony's missed his last 3 setups with his right hand, he's really starting to hit the ball solidly and sweetly on his hand. He's finding that sweet spot on his hand.
3 serves 10.
Tony's mishitting a lot of balls in that first game. Seems to be a lot more comfortable, seems to be finding his timing here. Billy with a nice back wall kill there. I think Billy might need a shirt change here. Everything he touches is soaking wet.
Timeout. Score 4. 10.
4-10 is the score as they come back from this timeout. Earlier today was Paul Brady defeating Mike Finnegan 21-9, 21-9. Shanks over Dave Fink by the score of 20-8. McCarthy defeats Fergal Collins 12-12. Emmett Peixote over John Iglesias 13-5. TGO defeats Gregan 16-9. Garner over Kennedy 17-17. And Moreno defeats Desi Keegan, our referee, 2-6.
Let's not forget, Dave, this is also the World Championships for one wall as well. We haven't made much mention of that. Joe Kaplan winning the one wall small ball World Championship yesterday, defeating Pee Wee Castro in an 11-10 tiebreaker in the final. Joe Kaplan and Dave Chapman losing in the final to the world champion Willie Polanco and Pee Wee Castro in an 11-7 tiebreaker.
It was Tracy Davis defeating Daniela Daskalakis in the women's finals in 2 straight.
Nice shot there from Billy.
That was not a productive timeout for Tony Healy. Now 5-10, I believe.
5 10.
Here's a setup for Billy.
Billy knows he had a good opportunity to cut into that lead just a little bit more.
Tenser's 5.
That was a foot fault. Not called.
Make that 11-5 now.
Billy had a good opportunity there with his left hand. Left that ball up in the left corner.
11 serves 5.
Very poorly hit fish shot there from Tony. Excellent pass shot from Billy.
Five serves 11.
Billy just falling back there with his left hand. He has time to back up and move into that shot. Surprised to see him hitting that fadeaway kill shot attempt. That's a nice shot there from Billy. That's a one-wall shot right there. That ball going straight down the right wall without touching it.
5 serves 11. Let's see what happens here. This is where Tony Healy has been injured. This is the injury from Tony Healy. This is what caused the injury the last time. There's Tony Healy wincing in pain right here. He's been injured for the last 12 months because of a strange abdominal issue. You might see an injury timeout.
Everyone hoping that Tony's going to be okay after that fall, including Billy, most of all. Let's hope that Tony didn't re-aggravate that injury.
6 serves 11.
Looked to move okay for that ball there, Dave.
Second serve.
There's the side out.
Tony definitely seems very ginger moving to his right there. Not sure what side is hurt there.
11 serves 6.
I think you're going to see Tony go to a very offensive-minded game here, try and get this match over with as quickly as he can. You're going to see Tony give everything he's got here to try and get these last 9 points.
12-6.
This is exactly what Billy doesn't want to do here. With Tony hobbling here, Billy wants to keep the rallies alive and wants to make Tony move around if he can.
13-6.
He actually puts topspin on that ball overhand so that when it hits that left side wall, it takes off. That's a shot that he's planned right there. It might not be a high percentage shot, but that's what he was going for. Excellent shot there from the bus. What I mean by topspin there, Dave, is he makes that ball spin end over end so that when it hits that side wall at that angle, it really takes off. Tony, just a beautiful shot there, straight down that right side wall. If that ball is just 2 or 3 inches off that wall, Billy's there. We've seen that a number of times tonight and also throughout Tony's career. The ability to paint that side wall.
Second serve. Point.
That's frustration there from Billy. That's a great serve, though, from Tony. That was an ace.
14-6.
Nice shot there from Billy. Great get. Tremendous get there from Tony, Dave. Normally we associate the best gets with a great dive, but Tony stretching out for that ball, picking up, actually able to flick that ball up over Billy's head in a 2-wall pass. That one stung just a little bit. Tony backing right into that.
15-6.
That ball. I like that shot there from Billy. This is a great rally here. That's the 33rd shot of this rally.
This is actually the best rally of this match here, Dave.
Not sure how you'd know that since you've been text messaging through the first 32 shots.
Well, the 4 shots that I saw were actually pretty good.
You can see Billy winded right there after that rally.
Look at Billy, he's winded here too. Billy and Tony are both winded here. That was a nice long rally. You're watching the 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships alongside Dave Fink. My name is Dave Vincent, Jeff Kastner, and Gene Casamoto doing the statistician work, which we absolutely appreciate. Desi Keegan, referee in this match. Very long day today. I don't know when you started yours, but I'm assuming it was about 6 or 7 this morning.
Woke up at 6.
We're here at 10 o'clock at night.
But let's not forget, if you do see Gene Casamoto walking around the grounds here at the MAC, please give her a thank you. She's over there with her pen and pencil just all day long, writing down every one of these facts that we can share with you. So just make sure that you give her your appreciation.
She has a radar gun in her left hand and her pen and her pad in her right hand, which is just absolutely amazing how she can do that.
She's also utilizing that new laser technology that's actually calculating the number of steps each player has taken throughout a match.
It's amazing the work that she does.
She's so humble, though, so when you do say thank you, she's likely to say,
no, I don't do any of those things.
But believe me, she's what keeps this operation running.
So this is an operation then, huh?
That's what I'd call it.
Listen for the score.
15-6.
15 serve 6.
Everybody's eaten lunch and dinner since we've been up here, Dave, and we're still here calling this round of 16 World Championship action. Had a little bit of a scare just about 5 minutes ago with Tony Healy possibly appearing to re-aggravate that groin injury. Seems like he's okay.
Still wincing just a little bit. I study the way Tony Healy walks, and it doesn't look natural.
I've actually seen you practicing that walk.
I'm figuring if you can walk like they do it, the pros do it, then you can play like the pros do it, but it hasn't worked for me.
It's not necessarily transitive.
15.
Very, very poor error there from Billy.
Listen for the score from Desi Keegan here. Game number 2. 15 serve 7. That ball's short. First game went to Tony Healy, 21-17.
Second serve.
That's not the first time we've seen Tony hit that elevator shot, that straight up to the ceiling and straight down. He's been off with that left fist here throughout this match. We've seen him make a number of errors.
You serve one thing. Come on. Serve. 15-7.
15 serve 7. Second game.
Billy not arguing. Good call. Tony hit that ball about a half an inch high.
16-7.
Looks like he got down extremely well for that ball. There's a back wall setup. Perfect technique there. You see how Tony lets that ball come across his body, moves out with it, lets the ball drop and just drills it.
Almost as if that injury helped. 17-7.
Well, I know I like to pull my groin. Helps me a lot.
Point.
Score is 18-7.
Tony looks like he's penciling his name in as our last quarterfinalist here.
Tony wins this, and it looks like he's going to. He's going to face a very hot and aggressive Luis Moreno. That was a quick call from Desi. Billy just a little upset with that. You can hear the court sounds. I don't blame Billy. He's a little frustrated right now. 18-7 is the score here. Nice serve right there from Tony. Billy has a nice return on those good serves from Tony, though.
We've actually seen Billy handle the difficult shots extremely well. We've seen him make a number of easy mistakes. I don't know if that's just a lack of concentration or what the solution is, what the answer to that is. Nice get there from Tony. Actually, a really nice back wall shot there from Billy. That was a volleyball spike, I think.
That was that one that had that top spin that you were talking about. That's supposed to gather into that wall and come out.
Wrong. Not true. Billy's actually trying to pound that ball straight down the left side wall.
Here it is, the second serve.
Second serve.
That'll do it.
There it is. Tony Healy defeats Billy O'Donnell 21-17, 21-7. As we look at the upper bracket round of 16, it's Brady versus Shanks going into the quarterfinals. McCarthy facing Emmett now in the quarterfinals. Chapman versus Alan Garner, and Luis Moreno versus Tony Healy. All those names that you just heard are those that won in the round of 16. They will be facing each other tomorrow in the quarterfinals. We want to thank you for tuning in today. It's been a long day. Dave Vincent, along with Dave Fink and Jeff Kastner, Gene Cosimoto, and all that put this tournament together. It's a 2009 Waterford Crystal World Handball Championships from the Multnomah Athletic Club, brought to you by the World Handball Council, sanctioned by the United States Handball Association, and the feed brought to you by Nifty TV and the WPH, WePlayHandball.com. We'll come back tomorrow morning early for the quarterfinal match, and we do appreciate you tuning in to this action from the Multnomah Athletic Club. You have a great rest of your evening or morning if you're in Ireland or places around the world for these championship games. We'll be back, and we'll talk to you later. You stick with us here at WePlayHandball.com.